You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, life. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. And you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. About your magics and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. But you didn't win this.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. Alright, let's start the show.
Vick, Victorious! Vick, Victorious!
Hey, happy Friday, Junior. Yes, we are almost to the end of the week. And I promise you, weeks feel like they go by so fast. Like when I was a kid, a week felt like 10 days. Now a week feels like 3 days. It's so weird to me. I don't know what's going on, but it's all right. We just gonna roll with it. Welcome to this week's episode of Dr. Victorious, where we explore the intersections of social justice, wellness, and what it means to show up fully human, especially from the Black perspective, because I'm Black. I'm your host, Dr. Nicole D. Vick. Yes, it is me. This week, we are going to talk about the intersection of homelessness, dignity, and autonomy. I saw something on the news and it struck me and it stayed with me. And I'm like, I want to talk about this. I do not pretend to be an expert on homelessness issues, but I still want to bring this up because it's a conversation I think that is really, really important. So I want to talk about that, right? The intersection of homelessness, dignity, and autonomy, but then also address the systemic gaps that leave families, communities, and individuals without clear answers on what to do next. Okay. But before we get into that, you already know what we about to do next. We got to hit the stroll. And it honestly was hard this week because there's so many things that are happening in real time. So I decided to do 2 light things and 1 heavy thing, but there's so much stuff happening. This whole thing with Brandy's book out and all that, I'm gonna touch on it just a teeny bit. I didn't tell the producer, but I can't not mention it, right? But first, let's do the first one. Now, y'all know I did an episode on AI, artificial intelligence, and I continue to see the shenanigans. So one thing I saw was someone had made a video warning people, listen, you're going to see AI videos of Black people that look very realistic, making products to sell, a shrimp purse or a cowboy hat. These people are AI. Like that freaked me out. I'm like, wow. I knew it. When I saw them, I was like, clearly it's AI, but a lot of folks are still not able to catch on. So this one was kind of diabolical, a little bit like, wait a minute, this one influencer, she is white, photoshopped or AI'd, I guess, maybe she put it through chat, I don't know, but she had Chat GPT superimpose her face over an actual photo of a Black woman at the US Open, and she re-tagged it and said that she was at the Miami Open. And so, of course, the person who is actually in the photograph was like, excuse me, why are you, what are you doing? And there was a whole back and forth and stuff. And I think the person that did the plagiarism took the photo down, but not after it had been seen and liked and, all that stuff, and y'all know, as I told y'all in that AI episode, in social media, that's where people make money, especially Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You make money by the engagement and the likes and things and whatnot. So this person actually stole an image and had it AI modified, and reposted it as herself. And the weird thing is, like I said, the person that did it is white, and the girl picture she stole was Black. I'm like, did you even change the skin color of the girl? Like, what is y'all doing? What is happening? So again, y'all, please be careful, pay attention. Another thing I learned kind of related to AI, sometimes you'll see on Threads is good for it. Hey, where are all my Black women 40 and over? Let me see your pictures. I think, and a lot of people have said this, that is a farming attempt. Like, they're taking these images and feeding them into AI to be able to use images to make them more realistic over time. So maybe don't share your pictures with random people like that. Not that they probably couldn't steal them anyway off social media, but I don't know. It's like things are getting real weird. And I feel like our governing bodies and people that are supposed to protect us are a little bit behind on kind of figuring out how to make sure we all are aware of what's real and what's not. It's getting real blurry and fuzzy. We got some blurred lines. Blurred lines. That's where we're at right now with the AI. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Another Threads drama. Threads. If you ever want to be in the middle of some tea and some drama, just get on Threads, because I'm guarantee you somebody's gonna post something, and about an hour later, you're going to see something else done happen. So here's what happened. This young lady posted, my man, my man, my man. And honestly, when people post my man, my man, my man, I automatically think to myself, your man is about to embarrass you. Guaranteed. And this is exactly what happened. So this young lady said, I met this guy on Threads. At first, it was just friendship. He became my best friend over about 3 months. We met in person. He's a personal trainer. He helped me get stronger, and I love him, and this is my man. So she was hard launching her man. I swear it must not have been not even a couple hours later, this other lady posts and says, well, that's weird because here's a picture of me and him a month ago. And I'm like, and then another girl. So listen, like I said, if you want to be in the middle of some tea, stay around on Threads long enough and you will be like, what happened next? And trying to stay around and figure out what happened next. It was crazy. Everybody was jumping in and having their opinions. Some people thought old girl was wrong for airing her grievances out about this dude. The original girl that is with the guy was like, well, you just mad because you didn't get picked. It was just a whole thing. So if you again, need something to occupy your time, just hang around Threads long enough and something gonna happen. Because I'm like, what is going on? And the other lesson with that one, maybe don't hard launch your man on Threads, because something gonna happen. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Some people say don't put your man on social media at all. I don't know, but be careful, because somebody gonna embarrass you, and it might be him or it might be somebody else that knows him. Okay, just sharing. Last one. This one is the serious one, y'all. And it kind of speaks to what we've been seeing all along in regards to workforce woes. This was from Facebook. Black Enterprise posted that a new report shows that while Black women have made significant gains, we're still lagging behind in pay, in our wages, and some other factors. And so this was a report called The Economic State of Black Women in the United States. And this report revealed that while educational attainment and labor force participation are important, they have not been sufficient to close long-standing gaps in economic security for Black women. And I say the answer to that is, why? Institutional structural racism. Think about it. Over 300,000 women, Black women, have left the workforce, and they didn't leave voluntarily. So these are things that are really symptoms to a larger issue. And I think that this particular report fleshes that out. So I don't know if y'all know, a lot of people have this inaccurate. Um, they report this data inaccurately. They say Black women are the most educated group in the world, or in America at least. They say it's actually not true. And I see people on threads like Feminista Jones, who try to no, that's not what the data says. But people still regurgitate and say that over and over again, and it's actually inaccurate. So approximately 65% of Black women who are 25 and older have attended college, including those who started but did not finish. Black women outpace Black men in bachelor's degree attainments, okay? Among adults aged 25 to 34, about 38% of Black women hold a bachelor's degree, compared with roughly 26% of Black men, a gap of about 12 percentage points. Still, Black women's college attainment falls short compared to other women's groups. In the same age group, about 77% of Asian women and 52% of white women hold a bachelor's degree. So do you see now why that statistic that you often hear people kind of regurgitate about Black women are the most educated is not exactly true? Okay. Same thing when we talk about labor. A lot of us are in the workforce, but according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median weekly earnings of Black women working full-time last year were about $942 compared to $1,108 for white women, $889 for Hispanic women, and $1,395 for Asian women. So again, there are still disparities. We can have an education. We are still earning less than some of our other counterparts. So just pay attention to the statistics and the data. It helps you understand what's happening. And then we can start to talk about why it's happening. So that is the scroll stroke. But I do want to talk about Brandy. Brandy book came out on the 31st of last month. And it's already a big, a lot of conversation about this whole Brandy Wanye thing. And I want to shout out Dominique Morgan. Please follow Dominique on Instagram and Threads. Dominique is talking a lot about sort of the perspective, like if Brandy was 16 and Wanye was 22, really important conversation about it. A lot of people are trying to, well, Brandy should have knew better or whatever at 16. And Dominique made a good point. Now, when it's about a 16-year-old saying they're gay or a 16-year-old saying they're trans, you're not old enough to make that decision about your life. So then why is it different? The conversation different for when Brandy is 16 and with a 22-year-old adult. Like, you got to stay on the same page. You got to stay consistent, okay? Is either you're old enough or you're not. And that's what Dominique said. So please follow Dominique on Instagram or Threads, because I was like, exactly. Point taken, point made. All right, y'all. I don't know if y'all going to read the book. I might go get it. We'll see. All right, let's go to commercial. We're going to get to the topic at hand. I'm just hyped. I'll see y'all in a bit.
This is Tammy from Tammy's Take, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
And we're back. We are back. So, again, we're going to talk about this conversation around homelessness. And what really drove it for me was there was a recent incident that happened where I think I forgot which channel, was it Channel 11 News? I'm not sure which news channel it was, but I saw it kind of broke where, hey, there are some people that are unhoused, homeless people living in the sewer lines underground here in Los Angeles. And so I think I don't remember how many, but they were, hey, we got to get these folks out of here. And the city then was closing up putting the manhole covers and closing them so that people couldn't get back in there. And I think, as a matter of fact, they were in the actual moment of closing up one of them, and there was actually somebody in there like, wait. And they were able to get that person out. And so that was like, what? People are living, we know that Skid Row and there's encampments and sometimes over the freeway overpass or under the overpass, but I don't think anybody, at least I had never thought or considered that someone would be living in the sewer, in those pipes, under the streets. And so it just kind of like, whoa, I know this problem is big, and it's been this big, especially in Los Angeles, for a very, very long time. And there's been all sorts of initiatives and funding and things that have been done to address the issue. And I know to some degree they have been successful to some degree, and to some degree, the problem still is there. It hasn't really completely gone away. But I think that kind of, stuck with me. And so I was like, wait, I really want to talk about this. I don't think I've talked about this on Nicole D Vick Live or Dr. VICKtorious. And it's such an important public health issue and a societal issue that I think is worth bringing up and raising. Again, I am not an expert on this issue other than to understand the public health implications of homelessness. I don't have lived experience. I don't know anyone in my family with that lived experience. I know people that work in that field, and I hope to bring them on. But it was just really something that I wanted to bring to y'all's attention. And so in the conversation around, oh my gosh, there are people living in the sewers. We got to, get folks out and get them help, the help that they need, shelter, and whatever other help that they need. And then we got to actually close these down and make sure people don't get back in there, because that's also a safety hazard. Someone could get down there and get hurt. And who would even really know what was going on, right? But what really stuck with me was there was one specific story that came out of that whole incident. And there was a woman that was found in the storm drain in South Los Angeles, and she was a 43-year-old woman, Black woman, and they actually spoke to her family. And so I think for me, it's sort of, I always see everyone as human and have a lived experience and a story, but it definitely added a human angle, listening to her mother and her sister talk about their journey in trying to get their family member help, and her being either unwilling or unable to receive that help. And so the woman that was found, her name is Jamila Robinson, 43 years old. She has 3 children. And they were asking the mom, her mother's name is Linda, like, why, how did this happen? And she was able to say her daughter, got into drugs, and that's kind of what started things to kind of go in the wrong direction. And her sister, so it's interesting, the woman's name is Jamila, her sister's name is Camila. So that's really cool. She hadn't seen her sister in years and actually didn't know where she was until someone had sent her the video, and she said, oh my gosh, that's my sister. And that's how she found out where she was and what she was doing in her living situation. So I think when they were cleaning out the area where the folks were living, they were asking Jamila if she needed assistance, and she declined and left. But what her family is saying is, why can't you keep her? She's not in the state of mind or in the position to speak for herself, right? And so by her declining, she's actually not in the space to do that. That's not accurate, right? And they want someone to kind of step in. But then there's that layer of, autonomy. Like, Jamila is a person. She is homeless, but she still is a person and has the ability, at least to the extent of what the government, I guess, or the service providers are saying to decline or accept services. And so it's this really interesting thing. And that's what really brought this up for me. Like, wow, we got to talk about this and really understand it. From the various perspectives, Jamila, her family, maybe the city, and other supportive services are all kind of all in this space together, but there's different opinions, different thoughts, different understandings about what can be done and what can't be done. And I thought that was really, really interesting. And it just isn't one story. This is a broader issue. I'm sure there are other families who have relatives that are homeless, maybe with similar issues. Like, we want to help our family, but if they decline, that's pretty much the end of it, right? You can't force anyone to do something that they don't want to do. But it's hard because you clearly know, like, if they were not under, substance use disorder, maybe they would have a different response. But we can't assume. If they say no, the answer is no. So the interesting thing is, like I said, the right to refuse help and what systems are legally allowed to do. And is there ever a situation where intervention should override people's choice to decline services or not? And I don't know. I was watching on Instagram. Follow Slauson Girl if you're not. Please follow Slauson Girl. I feel like she is a great journalist. A lot of the stuff I find out in South Los Angeles that is happening, I find out from watching or scrolling through Slauson Girl's page. She is a great journalist and keeps us all informed. And so she had reposted the video segment about Jamila. And people in the comments were saying some similar things like, well, why can't they just take her, knowing obviously that she needs help, obviously, right? That there may be some mental health issues along with the substance use disorder. Obviously, she's homeless. Why can't someone just take her somewhere to get her treatment and care? Why is she allowed to say no? And a lot of people were kind of commenting that. And so that is something I think that a lot of people think about, like, well, what happens when someone needs help, but they don't want that help? There are families that actually want their family members to be okay, but if their answer is no, then they are still remaining on the streets. How do we make sure that person gets rehabilitated and gets shelter and the care that they need? And so that's that push and pull and that tension between an individual's autonomy and what the family wants, which is definitely different than what that person may want, and then what the service providers are allowed to do. Some people in the comments even said we need to bring back the hospitals, right? The mental health hospitals, which were all closed as a result of, let me say the word right because it's long, deinstitutionalization, right? They were like, we're going to close these hospitals, and then all of those services will go to the local government or local jurisdictions to take care of folks with those kinds of needs. But I don't know if the funding ever met the need of the population. I'm not really clear on that as well. So just a lot of interesting conversation and dynamic. So what I do want to talk to y'all about in addition to this is the public health lens, right? Like housing as a significant public health issue, right? If you do not have housing, you do not have access to the safety that housing provides, literally a roof and walls and a door. So there's that physical importance and significance of housing to protect you from rain, from violence, from cold, and to allow you privacy in a sense of space and place, right? There's also the importance of housing as a space for, having a family and a home base. So there's all these different aspects of housing that are important. Housing safety. Does your house have mold? Can we make sure your house is built correctly and doesn't have pests and bed bugs or mold, things that can harm you? Is housing affordable? Because if it isn't, then, oh my goodness, if your housing cost is so high, you have less money for your medication, for your transportation, and for your other needs. And so we look at housing from a public health perspective in those kind of various avenues, right? And so, as we know, right now, everything is high. right? Housing, especially in Los Angeles, your gas, your food, everything, insurance, everything is going up. And so if your salary is not matching, and I don't think nobody's is, because everything just went up like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, why is it $82 to put gas in the car? What happened? So when your salary is not meeting the increase in cost of your things, you can't, something has to go, right? And if you don't have family support or some other safety net, it becomes very easy, unfortunately, to find yourself in a situation where your housing is tenuous, where you're not able to maintain your housing. And then add to that some of the issues around mental health, substance use, and can actually exacerbate those issues, right? You're anxious, depressed. Some of those things can make it even harder to kind of keep yourself afloat. And so it's really an interesting thing when we think about public health and housing sort of together and not separately, because then it allows us to think about prevention and how we can manage housing from a more holistic sort of perspective, right? And then the last thing I'll talk about too, even with this conversation around housing as a public health issue, is a lot of our systems don't speak to each other. Public health and housing, housing development, code enforcement. Like, I don't know if those systems speak to each other. Support services that many nonprofit organizations provide. I don't know if there's any synergy between those organizations, and maybe there is. But sometimes you need help in one space, and then, but that's not the right space. So then you got to come over here and try to get help here. But then you hit a brick wall here, and then you keep having to kind of hit these doors, trying to figure out where's the right space to get the help needed. And it can be very stressful. You're already anxious, already depressed, already unhoused. So there's all these other things going on, and you're still expected to navigate some systems that honestly are not always designed to work for us. They just, I think the intention is there sometimes, but oftentimes in the implementation and the rolling out of some of the things that happen, it doesn't quite always work. And so you get stuck. And then at the end of the day, you don't have anything. And then again, going back to what I said a minute ago, if you say no, because you're not in the space mentally to understand or consent for something that maybe you probably would have said yes to in any other time and space, then there's the other issue there. So, and the last thing I'll say, well, there's a couple things, but the impact on families and communities. The one thing I thought a lot about when I watched that segment about Jamila is her mother. Thinking about that. I'm a mother. I have been a mother for almost 3 decades now, which is insane. That's a whole nother conversation. But if I thinking about watching your child on camera, clearly having some either mental health or substance use issues, and declining the very help that would get her housed, I think that has to feel a way. Her mother is probably frustrated, sad, angry. And having to carry that burden, right? And I don't mean burden as her daughter being a burden, but just the weight of all of that. And then also feeling helpless. Like I want her to be helped. Why can't someone help her? I can't help her personally. What do I do now? I think that's a heavy weight to bear. And especially when you don't necessarily have any sort of avenues to get the assistance that is needed. And then the community also bears some weight, right? There's some accountability and some responsibility on behalf of the community. We should be figuring out ways to take care of the people that live in our neighborhoods. There shouldn't be people living in sewers or under freeway overpasses. And then what responsibility does the system have? And again, I say that to say, I know that there have been things on the ballot, like sales tax and all sorts of to raise money for homelessness. So I don't want to say we haven't done anything, because I don't think that's true at all. But how can we push this further along? And what responsibility does the community have to push against these systems and say, no, this is not enough. We demand more assistance and support for our neighbors so that they can get the support and care that they need. And the last thing is, I don't know if y'all know this, but this month is Fair Housing Month, which is really interesting. And Fair Housing Month commemorates the passage of the landmark Fair Housing Act of 1968 on April 11th of that year, which prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, or disability. This month promotes equal access to housing, advocates for inclusive communities, and highlights the need to fight for against ongoing housing discrimination. And so I saw the word inclusive communities, and I'm like, hey, again, we have to make sure all of our citizens, all of our residents are taken care of and have access to housing. So it's really not just about access. It's about sustained stability. How do we keep people stable and make sure they're long-term have access to housing? It's not just about the physical structure of a home. It's about our support systems. A lot of housing organizations have a concept, and I don't know if it's still promoted widely, but it's housing first, and they make sure they wrap services around that person. So how do we make sure we get people housed, but also make sure they have the support services they need to survive and to thrive? And it's really not just about policy either, because policy is great, and it is a very important factor in systems change and changing the landscape of how we do things. But it's also about making sure we navigate or help people navigate gaps, or even eliminate those gaps altogether. So again, really, really important conversation. Again, I don't have all the answers. I am not an expert. I'm sure I have left something out, but I just wanted to bring it forward because I'm like, it was really heartbreaking to see. And I know as a mother, if I turned on Channel 11 News and my kid was climbing out of a sewer, obviously in need of assistance and support, and literally as long as that person declines, if she declines, they're like, well, she said no, that's it. Like, so what happens now? That would hurt my spirit. I would be devastated because I know there's really nothing that can happen. And I don't know what the laws are and how we can change that, if they should be changed, because there is a slippery slope, right? You taking someone's autonomy away, where does that end? So I get that as well. But at the same time, as a mom, hey, please help my child, help her. And I don't know if there's anything that can be done. So it's just something I felt like you all needed to hear about, and that I needed to kind of explore a little further. We're going to go on commercial break, and then we're going to do the doctor's notes and close on out. See you in a bit.
What's going on, y'all? It's Kwame Speaks from Kwame Speaks Live, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Bring it up, up. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Bring it back, bring it up, up. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Bring it back, bring it up, up.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter, host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network.
right, we're at the doctor's note segment. Hello, can I talk? I can clearly of this tonight's episode, and I just really want to leave y'all all with a few points. Homelessness, huge issue, definitely something that will not go away overnight, but I think we got to keep working. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep pushing through so that we can make some changes in how things happen in our communities. And then again, we also have to address the other issues that surround it, right? For some, substance use, also for some mental health issues that can actually, make things a little bit harder as far as getting services to folks. And then I'll just leave with this. Sometimes the hardest part isn't that help doesn't exist, right? That there is help, it's that it doesn't reach people in the way they need. And I think that's the thing. Like there may be services, but I don't need them this way. I need them that way. Why does the clinic close on the weekend, right? It's little things like that where really important things that are available, but oftentimes or sometimes they're not available in the way that folks actually need them. And so I want to continue this conversation. I actually know someone that works in this space. I haven't reached out yet, so I'm going to make some email, phone calls, whatever, to see if I can get them to come on in the next couple of weeks, because I think it would be great to have a little bit more insight into what's happening on the ground. And even, I don't know if that person knows even what would happen in the case of Jamila, in this case, where if she declines, what happens, if there are anything that can be done to support her in the face of her saying, I don't want help. I'm really interested in that. Okay, y'all. Thank you for watching. You know where to find me. I have a beautiful website, www.NicoleDVick.com. There's all kinds of stuff on there. You can buy copies of my books. You can see videos of past episodes. You can see me as guest on other people's podcasts and whatnot. I have how many books? I don't remember. I always forget. But I have Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. I have Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times. And then my third one is an anthology, Triumph in the Trenches. This is for people trying to navigate the workforce as Black folk, because work is hard for us. I just talked to y'all about the stats for Black women. It's a little rough for us. So these are some 22 other authors giving some really good insight into how to navigate the workforce for Black folk. All right. I'm on social media. I've been doing really, really, really good on LinkedIn. I'm so proud of myself. Instagram, I'm on. I have my personal account. So you'll see stuff like my nails. You'll see me talk about all kinds of random things. And then Dr. VICKtorious is the other Instagram account, which is the podcast stuff, the more professional, Nicole. Yes. All right, y'all. I will see you next week. I have a special guest on the someone you should know sort of thing, like I did last month. We're going to do it again next week. I have someone else that you should know. So stop on by and see who that is. All righty. Take care and I'll see you. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.